Cluck TV presents A Closer Look with Al Travis, sharing how they select the stories featured on Destination Small Town.
As a video editor of Destination Small Town, it's always fun to find those businesses that go to the next step. The one thing starts as something and that's good, but the next step gets it even better until all of a sudden it's something that, boy, you've got to see to believe. And we've got one of those stories for you next. It's called Those Blasted Things in Laverne, Minnesota. Those Blasted Things is a small family-owned and operated business located in Laverne, Minnesota. The gift store location has been open since 2001. Before opening their gift store, Vance and Becky were selling their custom sandblasted rocks at arts and craft shows in the area. Sandblasting on rocks was the original inspiration for the name of the store. Today, Those Blasted Things specialize in much more than sandblasted stones. Unusual and unique jewelry, fossils, lamps, tabletops, and chess sets are only a few of the various items we found at Those Blasted Things. In addition to nature's creations, Those Blasted Things has a variety of hard-to-find concrete statuary pieces, glass items, and more fun items. If you're in the area, stop in and see what's new and unique at Those Blasted Things, or check out their online store for in-home convenience. Here at Destination Small Town, we have our satellite link to talk with Vance and Becky about Those Blasted Things. Are you guys ready for the interview?
Oh, I'm sorry, Al. We're not quite ready yet. Can you just play our commercial? We'll be ready in just a minute, I promise.
Oh, well. All right, then. Quick commercial.
Okay, it's coming up on your left. You just passed Those Blasted Things.
What's so great about Those Blasted Things?
What's so great? Turn around! Those blasted things got rings and things that you never ever seen before. They got pipes made out of pipestone and a clown that guards the door. They got a carved wooden castle and it wouldn't be a hassle to bring your whole family to see. They got a rat, got a cat, got a coonskin cap and pickle bass for you and me. Those blasted things. Those blasted things. Once something on site by meteorite and all the joy it brings. They got the mini car smell of Bigfoot in a jar and fossils and rocks galore. They got crystals meditate with skulls to complete with their porcupine for your door. Those blasted things. Those blasted things. It's Those Blasted Things, the hidden gem of Laverne, Minnesota. Be sure to like us on Facebook and take the virtual tour on our website. Why haven't you been to Those Blasted Things?
We don't do a lot of commercials on Destination Small Town, but that one kind of shows you what's going on over there, doesn't it? How long have you guys been doing this?
How do I look? To answer your question, Al, how long have we been in business? I was going to have Buttons answer the questions, but it seems like every time you look at him or put a camera on him, he gets paralysis. So, actually, in 1987, we started Laverne Monuments. And that's selling memorials for cemeteries and stuff like that. And in 2002, we came to this current location here and started Those Blasted Things. So we're two different names in the same business, and the reason we're two different names is we couldn't have a rock shop, which obviously you can see as a rock shop now, because people wouldn't come into a monument company and vice versa, so we're two different names.
All right, you do a lot with stones. What's this metaphysical thing?
Metaphysical is referring to the different energies that you'll feel from a different type of rock. For instance, this is Snakeskin Agate. It comes from a region in Oregon, and it actually has kind of a calming effect. So for instance, we had a young girl come in one day and she was having a hard time passing her driver's test. And her mother was with her, and we said, why don't you just take a piece of this snakeskin agate with you and see if it helps you calm down. She took the snakeskin agate with her and she actually passed her test. She came back and she was all excited. She said it really worked, helped her calm her nerves down. This piece here is called moldavite, and it's a type of tektite that occurs when a meteorite has landed on Earth and the the earth splatters back up into the atmosphere, and when it comes back down, you get this piece of moldavite. You can see the different textures on it. Moldavite has a high energy, and so if you're having a hard time or you're dragging in the afternoon or whatever, if you wear a piece of moldavite and a piece of jewelry or just carry one, it can help you increase your energy. A lot of people don't believe in metaphysical stones, but up until they invented the Geiger counter, we didn't know there was any energy coming out of uranium, did we?
All right, I'm going to tell you this. Some people think rocks are boring. What's all that going on behind you?
Behind me, we have a whole bunch of boring rocks, which we don't really think are boring. We've got salt lamps, selenite lamps. We have agate bookends. There's different samples and specimens of all different things. And if you're in this store and you don't want to look at rocks, well, maybe we can sweeten it up a little bit and talk to Katie.
As you can see, we also have honey. My girls have been sitting at home working really, really hard to make this honey for you. It's all the good stuff. There's none of that corn syrup mixed in. It's all made from local flowers, and we promise that you will enjoy it.
Wow, Vance, what's going on there?
Well, Al, I'm sitting here with Stretch. We're discussing this gastroliths here. And if you're wondering about Stretch here, he got stretched out by a semi. That's where he got the name. These gastroliths here, people were finding these out in the desert and were wondering what's with these weird piles of stones. Well, what they are is dinosaurs were related to the chickens, and some of the vegetation-eating dinosaurs would eat rocks just like chickens eat rocks to digest in their gizzard. And at first when they were finding them, no one could figure out what this was all about, but then they found a couple of these dinosaurs, dug them up, and there right in the stomach was these big piles of stones. So what they would do is they would eat them. When they'd wear out, they'd regurgitate them in a pile, and voila, we got piles of stones. And Stretch likes these things, but we don't let him eat them because they're hard on his stomach.
Scares me to ask this, but it's what I do. So what's some of the stranger stuff you've got there?
Well, here's something kind of unusual. What does this look like to you? You're right. It's dinosaur poop. Petrified. Don't worry, you can smell it. It doesn't smell like anything besides a rock. But you can see from the texture, it's the real deal. We actually have pendants made from this dinosaur poop. It polishes up beautifully. And this pendant here is actually made from dinosaur bone. You can see each of the different little pores in there. It's very, very interesting when you get up close to it.
We sure seem to have a lot of fun at those blasted things.
Well, Frank and his Stein seem to think so.
Well, it looks like Becky's able to join us too. Becky, how do you guys know so much about rocks?
Well, alpaca, eagle, doesn't help me a lot. And I'm no geologist. But we do have books for sale. We have local history, we have rocks and gems, we have metaphysical, and we have books of just stones that helps us with all the information we need.
You mentioned started with a monument company. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Laverne Monument is a cemetery memorial company that we started in the 1980s. And we've always operated with a very high quality product with a very family orientated and low pressure atmosphere.
How about this? Where are you located?
We are located right in Luverne, Minnesota, a half a block north of Interstate 90. And we are also located by the Big Buffalo, as you can see right there, and our store. And while you're here, we're a designated tourist information center, and we can turn you on to bike paths. The Blue Mountain State Park has a very popular rock climbing area, and we have the Touch the Sky Prairie. We have a beautiful war museum, a history center. We have all kinds of things going on downtown, a lot of little boutiques to visit, and that's where we're at.
All right, one last question. What are your plans for the future? Straight from the pig's mouth. Only on Destination Small Town. Another business you've got to see. If you're in Laverne, stop in there. It's those blasted things.